welcome to Northwest Now. I'm your host, Richard Buckley, joined by the main man to my right, Luke Sims. And what a show we've got coming up. We're on location at the home of the champions, Manchester City. And we're actually joined by, in the Etihad Stadium, in a box, someone who won silverware during his time at the club, Greg Hartley. Greg, thank you for joining us, and you're going to talk to us a little bit about Manchester City's remarkable season.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, guys. I think City have been doing unbelievable this year. Even though it pains me to say it as a United fan, it's just been fabulous to watch.
So obviously, as a Man United fan, as you say, how hard was it to play, to sign a contract for City initially? Did you get stick from the boys back in the earlier days?
Yeah, well, I decided to play for them when I was, when I was young, like 10. So I didn't really know, the whole rivalry. But as you get older, it got a lot easier, being around the club, and you kind of take the when you go to the derbies, it's not more of a derby for myself anymore. It's more of two teams that I grew up and love. So.
And you speak about two teams that you love. I've actually got a stat for you. So I'm a man for a stat. If Manchester United win their last 3 Premier League games, their points total will have won enough. They'll have won enough points to have won 9 separate Premier League seasons. So on 9 different occasions, that would have been enough to win the league. On the other hand, on the blue side, if Manchester City win their last 3 Premier League games, it'll be enough points to win every single Premier League ever. So people say that everyone else has underperformed. I think you've got to look at it and say Manchester City, they've just been remarkable. Some of the standout players this season, as a former pro yourself, you've got to look at Kevin De Bruyne. Mm-hmm. How good is he as a player?
I think you guys say he's one of the best in the world, but he's also surrounded by unbelievable players. When he was at Chelsea, you saw him, he wasn't the kind of player that he was now. I think that's because the identity they play and what Guardiola's got them playing. I think it just makes him shine as a player in that team.
How long do you think City's dominance will last? Obviously, you've got Liverpool now looking good at the moment. Do you think City can continue this for years to come?
I think so, but I think other teams will adapt. If you look at Barcelona and the way they used to play with Iniesta and Xavi, the tiki-taka kind of football, teams around them adapt and they don't dominate as much with that football anymore. I think the way they Man City play, I think it'll be exactly the same, but I don't think it'll be any time soon where teams in and around them are going to be, fighting for the first place spot.
And it's funny you talk about Barcelona there, because the main man, Pep Guardiola, he's coming to City. I think it's his man management as a spectator looking. You're looking at someone like Nicolas Otamendi. He's made him look like Maldini back there. How important, as a former player, is it to have a manager who you can sit down with, can actually chat to, and really the man management is there? Do you think that's more important, you'd say?
I think it is massively important. On a personal, I've had managers that maybe have not got on with, and other players have not got on with. So it messes kind of the team cohesion up. But with Pep Guardiola and them type of managers who are always hands-on and looking after the young kids that are coming through, I think that's always been great in a team. From my personal experience, years ago when Sven-Göran Eriksson was at City, you would see him come down to the academy and watch the lads play, and just seeing that and seeing that the first team coach come down and actually know your name when you're 15, 16, it's a big thing. And he'll talk to you like he's your friend, not like someone who's like the head of the club. So I think it's always great to have a man manager who can, be that person on the pitch, but also be that person you can go to off the pitch.
It is renowned, Pep Guardiola. He sticks around for 3-4 years, as seen with his previous jobs. Do you think that'll be the case here at City? It is set up for him to achieve it for a long time to come.
I think he will stay around. I think he looks like he's enjoying his coaching roles now, and taking a team like City, who didn't really have no identity as a team, to what they're playing now. I think it's remarkable. It just depends if they go and start winning trebles and quadruples, whether he gets bored and moves on. But I think he's safe right now. I think he really loves what he's doing here at the club, and making history. And
Greg will be sticking with us for the remainder of the show, because it is now time for non-league now. This is a portion of the show where we take a step down during the Football League to look at the teams lower down in the pyramid, look at the National League North, you could say, as well, and some of the turmoil that goes on day-to-day basis at these clubs. The main portion, you could say, Stockport County. Our reporter, Grant McQuillan, actually went over to Stockport County and did a little report. Grant.
Stockport County were up and down the second and third divisions for 66 years, and it was as early as 2010 that they were applying their trade in League One. 2 years later, they were relegated out of the Football League for the first time in their 130-year history. But it was the season of 2013-14 which became the most calamitous year yet, as they were relegated to the National League North, meaning Stockport County had now gone from the second tier of English football to the sixth in just 11 years, forcing them to become a part-time club. But it wasn't just the problems off the pitch that caused one of the most astonishing downfalls in English football. The Stockport County supporters just owned 98% of the club from 2005 to 2009. But in 2008 they took out a loan. They couldn't pay this loan back, which inevitably forced them into administration. And their third takeover in just 8 years eased their financial worries, but this time the supporters were not in charge. So how has this club gone from beating Manchester City in the Championship back in 2002 to playing in the National League North just 11 years later, and stayed mid-table ever since? The problems off the pitch started back in 2003 when the then owner Brian Elwood sold the club to Sale Sharks. This then meant that County no longer owned Edgeley Park, which they still don't own to this day. But when John Keegan took over as director in 2015, he released a document titled Moving Forward. This ensured that County would eventually get back to the Football League, back to full-time, and once again own their own home.
The Moving Forward document isn't just about what happens on the pitch, it's not just about success in terms of league position, it's more really about making the club stable and sustainable again going forward. So a lot of the references in that document are to do with having a football club that can wash its own face.
Stockport County's journey down the leagues has been one of the most tragic and shocking collapses English football has ever seen. Poor performances on the pitch at a time finances and logistics off the pitch were at an all-time low ultimately led County to where they are now. The board have stated their intent of being back at a full-time club and back in the Football League by 2020. But it seems until the money comes back in, the club will remain far away from where it intends.
Yes, it appears Stockport County's changes fortunes finally do appear to be changing. A team going in the opposite direction, Chester. Problems both on and off the pitch saw them be relegated to the Vanarama National North. Down Linford Downs reports.
On the 25th of January this year, City Fans United, the supporters club that runs Chester FC, made the announcement that the club would soon run out of money and that they needed to raise 50 grand before the end of next month. The charity fundraising match, which raised £25,000, the club featured celebrities and former players, such as football and five presenter Colin Murray and former Liverpool strikers Michael Owen and Ian Rush. We spoke with Chester's Community Trust CEO and former writer for the Chester Chronicle, Jim Green, as he offered his insight into the fundraising that has taken place over the last few weeks.
Charity game, Bob Lads. There's been a race night. There's a big sponsored walk on Saturday before the game. A couple of long-standing supporters did a walk from Racecourse Ground in Wrexham to this ground, and there's obviously been like a general Back the Blues fund that people have been able to donate.
The club have been waiting on a decision over transfer fees from several players sold in the summer. The transfer of James Labby's to Tranmere was decided by a tribunal. They decided that the fee should be about £22,000, and they sold academy graduate Sam Hughes, the former Premier League champions, Leicester. Now, Chester will be looking to hopefully push more academy graduates through and maybe even sell them on for bigger fees. Players like James Jones, Matty Waters and Tom Crawford all come through Chester's academy.
20-year-old Matty Waters has come through the academy and featured this season on 8 occasions, scoring twice, including this stunner against Gateshead. Football League clubs are keeping tabs on the prospect, which could benefit the club financially.
Chester have been forced to ship players on long-term contracts out of the club. Players such as Kingsley James and Paul Turnbull are replaced with players either without a wage or paid by other clubs. Players like Dominic Vose and players like Gary Roberts. So last week Chester were defeated 2-0 at home to Dover, and this match was significant because it was the lowest attendance that the club have had since the reformation in 2010. The attendance was 1,182.
You know, we've struggled in this league for a sustained period. It's probably the third season in a row where we've been at the wrong end of the table. I think that does grind people down, and the attendance against Dover was probably a reflection of that.
The troubled club currently lie 23rd in the National League and 6 points from safety, although the teams above them have up to 3 games in hand. Barring some sort of miracle, Chester resigns to face National League North next season.
Chester will be facing the National League North next season, unfortunately, but a team on the other end of the spectrum, Liverpool FC, they're flying high at the minute, and in Merseyside, there's another team, the City of Liverpool FC. They've just finished 4th in the North West Counties Premier League, and our reporter Marcus Banks went down to the team, the recently established team I should say, in 2015, to see what all the fuss was about.
On Merseyside, you're either a red or you're a blue. But in the small town of Bootle, a new club is rising. Founded in 2015, City Liverpool FC, also known as the Perps, has saw a new generation of football fans switch allegiances from Merseyside's biggest clubs. And after 3 trophies in 3 years, support is growing. Young fans unable to gain access or afford a ticket to visit Anfield or Goodison have instead decided to show their support for City of Liverpool. Fans have even adapted famous Liverpool songs by the Beatles around the club and its star players.
For me personally, it's nothing like I've ever experienced before, because I've got my own songs that they sing about me, so for me personally it's amazing.
The Perps play here at the TDP Solicitor Stadium. They regularly attract over 500 fans from the league and 600 fans in the Cup, which is more than the majority of clubs in the higher divisions. Even at the 9th level of English football, their record attendance is over 1,000.
Memberships had reached the 500 mark by February 2016, despite the club being without a manager or players having yet to kick a ball. Anyone who purchases a membership will receive a share of the club, as well as voting rights to help shape its future.
Many of these fans have never dreamt that they'd wake up the next morning to check the non-league football results. Now they turn up home and away to one of the fastest rising clubs in England.
They have it, City of Liverpool FC, really booming at the minute. Greg, you're currently playing non-league football. What's it like waking up, going training midweek in the rain, maybe not the nicest of facilities, and going away on the bus at the weekend, getting with the boys, playing some good grassroots football? What's like the main difference, obviously, between professional and, you could say, grassroots, but some of the things that you only experience if you've really done both?
I think it's just the way the clubs are run, and you know, being at City, you turn up, you have your pre-match meal, all laid out for you. When you go to the non-league games, you're either getting a sandwich from Tesco or, making your own lunch. So there's massive differences in, obviously, funding and the money that goes into it. But you're playing football with your mates. When you've got a team who's like a family, it doesn't matter if you're playing professional or grassroots football. You go in there to have fun, and that's the main thing for me right now. Trying to work up the leagues and see where I go from there.
Obviously, you seem to be enjoying yourself down there. Is that the ultimate goal, getting back to where you once were?
Yeah, I think it is. Playing with them right now is one of the best times I've had playing since I came back to England, and I'm loving every minute. I've helped them progress up the league. Because I only joined them in January. But yeah, I'm loving it. Everything what we're doing right now with the club, and it seems like they've got a good future ahead of them. And
you did say back to England. Your footballing career took you to America for a little bit. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, well, from City, we got let go from there, didn't get a new contract, so the opportunity came up to go to the United States of America, and it was an opportunity I couldn't pass up. Able to go and travel, go to different countries, experience different cultures. I've always loved travelling, so I had to take it and move over there when I was 18.
Do you think you're done playing abroad now? Is it England your main focus, or are you open to anything at this stage?
Just England. But if I had the opportunity to go back to America for the team I played for out there, I would 100% do it, because the lifestyle over there, the people, the just everything about being there was amazing. It was one of the best decisions ever made.
And you spoke then a little bit about getting released at City. I feel like there's a bit of an unwritten topic, like an unspoken about topic, in terms of like players getting released and then going down like dark paths, you could say. As someone that didn't happen to you, how would you give advice to younger pros who are going through that at the minute, where they think the only thing that they've got is football, and then when they do get released, when that does come down on them, they might turn to the dark side, maybe alcohol, drugs to get past?
I think, like you said, it's definitely an unwritten thing that people don't know about. And I had a friend who I played with in America, and he was actually West Ham's academy, and he's, since he was young all the way through, captain of the youth team, got a professional contract, captain of the reserve team, and he thought he was going to get an extension of the contract, and it came out of nowhere that he didn't get a new contract, and it was, just out of the blue. And he had a tough time with it, but there's organisations out there that do help you with it. The Play Football Association, the PFA, they're a massive organisation that help with things like this, education and things you need. And I know he went there, and they helped him massively get out of the ditch he was in. But now he's back in America and playing football for the team I used to play for, and he's loving life again. But like you said, it is people don't talk about it, but it is there, and I think we need to talk about it more. And I think young people don't have to think, I've been let go from one team, that's the end of it. There's hundreds of teams in the UK, but like I did, I went to a different country to continue playing. It was, like I said, one of the best decisions I've ever made.
You're obviously a wise man with plenty of knowledge. I know it's a long way off yet, but after your playing career, would you like to spread that knowledge elsewhere into maybe coaching?
Yeah, I think a couple of years ago I never thought I would be a coach. I just think I had the mindset for it, but now you brought that up. I'm coaching at Oldham Athletic with the youth team goalkeepers and with the academy and sometimes the first team, and it was a great step in the door for me. At a league club, who's got a lot of history, and just be able to learn from the coaches from there and learn from the first team coaches is just a great building block for me. And hopefully, when the football does end the playing side, hopefully I can go on and go to different clubs and experience different teams.
Final question: in 10 years' time, you imagine it might be all over for you, the footballing career. Mm-hmm. What do you want to be remembered for, you could say, in your career? But also, do you think you will be more further down the line as a coach? Do you think maybe there could be something there for you?
Hopefully. I mean, I think I just want to be remembered for is being, a good player and a good person on and off the field. I think when I was 18, 19, I probably wasn't, the best person. I didn't take it the right way. It kind of gets your head when you sign a professional contract and you think you own the world, but you don't. Yeah. So and that was advice to the young players that are coming through. Don't take it for granted like I might have. But yeah, like you said, I would love to do coaching and continue that, because I don't want to leave football. I don't want to have an office job 9 to 5, because I want to be on that field. I want to be helping the next generation of players, wherever it may be, maybe in England, maybe back in America, maybe somewhere in Europe. But I think that's the ultimate goal now. Get my coaching badges and and go from there.
Thank you so much for your time, Greg. After the break, we've got a segment dedicated to the UFC, as the organisation attends Liverpool for the first time in its 25 years existence. It is going to be headlined by hometown hero Darren Till, as he takes on former 2-time world challenger Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. We'll be previewing that fight and many others after the break.
I believe I'm the best fighter alive.
What a stoppage! Darren Till shocks the world!
The whole welterweight division's on notice now, doubting me, saying they didn't know who I was. I bet they know now, don't they? I'm just going to keep pasting people out.
Wow!
He's not a guy who's going to come and quiver away. He's going to try and take my head off. I want to knock him out. I want to devastate his life.
Let's go! Stephen Wonderboy Thompson by first round TKO!
He is without a doubt one of the best strikers in the game today.
Darren Till has proven he is the finisher that we all knew he could be. And for all those people doubting him, that finish was for you.
Don't ever doubt me again. Do not doubt me ever again.
As you said, Luke, the UFC is coming onto Merseyside, and it's all due to this man, Darren Till. What a performance against Donald Cerrone over in Gdansk. If people are unaware of Darren Till, tell me a little bit about him. What makes him such an engaging fighter?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, as a fighter, you want to see blood, sweat, tears, and this man brings it all. He's a stand-up warrior, as we saw in that fight against Daniel Cerrone, where he took him out in the first round. You're talking about a legend, a veteran of the sport. He wiped the floor with him. He's been calling for the main event for months now, and he's finally got it against a former two-time world challenger, Stephen Thompson. Obviously, both undefeated kickboxers. That amount of record of 112 and all between them or something crazy like that.
It'll be a tough fight for him though, because Stephen Thompson, if you are unaware to UFC, to the mixed martial arts cage, 2 tough fights against the current champion, I should say, Tyrone Woodley. The first fight, probably fight of the year, last year over in Madison Square Garden. A couple of months later, they had a little bit of a stalemate. Neither could work each other out. So it's not going to be all a walk in the park for Darren, is it?
Absolutely not. He's gone into this fight as the betting underdog, and you can see why with Stephen Thompson's 2 fights against the current champ. You could have argued he won that first fight. I as a fan, scored him winning that fight. Yep. Unfortunately, the second fight didn't live up to the expectations, and that's the only reason he's not fighting for the title again. It's hard to sell, but this fight is definitely not hard to sell. It's good, as we said before, it's going to be a stand-up war, 2 unbelievable kickboxers, and I'm just looking forward to it, to be honest with you.
It's quite a stacked rest of the card as well. If you are unaware of UFC and MMA, talk me through some of the fighters. A lot of them from this northwest region fighting.
Yeah, that's just what we're going to be covering right now. Up here we've got Arnold Allen. He's taking on Mads Majeur from Belgium. Arnold Allen's actually riding a 5-fight win streak, yep. So he's in good form, as you could say. Yeah, he's up against a jiu-jitsu expert, so it's going to be tough. He's traditionally a striker, so it's going to be a styles makes matchups, right? If he can keep it on the feet, he's in with a great chance.
Yeah, and a lot of other stacked cards, you could say, coming up from the UFC. A fight that did actually get cancelled, Neil Magny against Gunnar Nelson. That was going to be probably one of the fights of the night. But that's the way of the land, you could say. Sometimes fights do fall out of contention due to injury. It's a combat sport. A couple more fighters making their debut as well. Molly McCann, Luke.
Yes, that's right. Molly McCann fighting out of Liverpool. She's highly anticipated. It was only last week she actually won there. She became the inaugural Cage Warriors flyweight champion. And I caught up with their champ last week. Cage Warriors 19 Liverpool, and I'm joined with new and for the first time ever Cage Warriors women's flyweight champion. Molly, how does that sound?
Rose Namajunas coined the phrase, it sounds like butter. It sounds like how it's always supposed to feel like this, you know.
Brilliant. What does it feel like headlining, like you said, in Liverpool?
Do you know what? Myself for about the first 3 weeks of fight camp, like, oh my god, this is an immense kind of thing, and I've took it in my stride. I'm living the dream. This is all I've ever asked for, and
that's going to get beeped out.
I'm just walking on cloud 9 at the minute, yeah.
Let's talk about your opponent. You hit some heavy shots in that first round. She kept going forward, to be fair to her. Did you expect that?
We can say heavy shots. They was 60%. I just know I couldn't overcommit. So I said to her, Bryony, you felt me respecting you in sparring. It's literally sparring now. That. Anyone feels a dig off me and it's like game over, do you know what I mean? You've seen the power in my hands today, and the flyweight division beware.
So, like you say, you're now the flyweight champion. What is next for you? Do you want to defend the belt, or would you wish for that?
I'd love Paddy will win in April, and we're just going to make it happen. He's going to fight the Viking, come back in September, both defend our belts, both go to the UFC.
Super, that's my next question. Congratulations on your win. Thank you very much. So as you heard there, well, as you see, Molly McCann is he's fighting on the UFC Liverpool card. Many were anticipating that. A fighter who isn't fighting on the card, however, is her teammate, Paddy Pimblett.
Quite controversially as well, he thought he'd be fighting.
Absolutely. I also caught up with Paddy. We'll hear from him now, and we'll discuss after the clip. I'm joined with hometown boy Paddy Pimblett following his second round submission victory over Alex Savidis here at Cage Warriors 90 at Liverpool. First of all, Paddy, how does it feel to get back to winning ways in your hometown?
Great, it was needed, know what I mean? It was a long time coming. Having fought in 10 months, was meant to fight in October, and it was needed, know what I mean? Needed to get in there, get the ring rust off, and I have. That flying back, man.
Talk me through the fight. Obviously, he's known for a bit of jiu-jitsu expert, 8 submission victories in his career. You've gone out there and tapped him out.
Yeah. Of course, he was a purple belt and knew his jiu-jitsu was going to be good, but I'll be honest, I didn't expect it to be that good, know what I mean? I'm a brown belt and I'm thinking I'm close to my black belt, to be honest, and his jiu-jitsu was very good. I underestimated his jiu-jitsu. He nearly had me in a few stuff and he got out of a good few submission attempts of mine. He was a very good opponent, know what I mean?
What's next for you then? Obviously you want that lightweight title.
Yeah.
Featherweight return on the cards?
I want that lightweight belt and then I'll take that featherweight belt, know what I mean? I'll be a 3-time world champion by the age of 23. That's it. Get this lightweight belt in a few months, then I know I didn't have to do any bats for this weight cut, so I can do a little weight cut and I can get to feather again and I'll take my belt back.
Yeah, this is the 4th time you fought here in your professional career. Does it get better each time with the fans?
Yeah, it gets better each time. Did you see that then? Hey, did you see that? People aren't ready to come here, know what I mean? He give him his due, he never let the nerves get to him. He come out and he was game. Thought the nerves would get to him, know what I mean? People come to this arena and their heads fall off. Johnny Frazier did. But you know, he was good, very good. I underestimated him, to be fair.
So do you want to get straight back in there, or you can have a little time off?
Straight back in there, keep the weight low. So I didn't have to do a weight cut, so I haven't blew him back up to 77 kg after weighing in at 66. You know what I mean? Woke up this morning 74.5, so I'm ready to go again whenever. Lightweight.
So as you heard there, he wanted to get straight back into action. He loves fighting in Liverpool. Why isn't it on his card?
Yeah, you got to think maybe a contractual thing. Maybe he's picked up an injury coming into the camp. But going back to Darren Till, pretty much in this area, in this northwest region, I'd probably say he's the second biggest fighter behind Michael Bisping. Quite surprisingly, he's not on this card. Do you think there's any reason going forward? Whose fight is he going to be next? So what's his retirement fight going to be, Luke? In one word.
Well, do it.
In one word. I've put you on the spot.
Retirement fight. Machida.
Lyoto Machida, big call. You imagine he'll be there, Michael Bisping supporting Darren Till. Prediction, you're the expert. Will Darren Till pick up a massive result against Stephen Thompson and pretty much put him in contention for that welterweight title?
I think he will, to be fair. He's the bigger man, and I think that will pay dividends at the end of the day. They're both kickboxers, they're going to be hitting each other with all they've got, and as the bigger man, he's going to carry more power, and that will prevail, ultimately.
You heard it here first, Darren Till will prevail. And it looks like we've just run out of time this week on Northwest Now. We'll be here next week for another episode to catch up with all the sporting action from the Northwest region. Good evening.